I believe, and most of us do believe, that Delices and Boudica, these two communities are the untold story of what happened in Erica. We understand what happened in 57 and the other areas, and we understand that there had to be a concentration on loss of life. When it comes to infrastructural damage and the traumatizing of its village or community, we personally believe that Delices was affected just as much as any area else. On the 26th, was it 26th? Wednesday 26th, we left the SIT training at the ODM office in Jimmet, and we went home. We were supposed to be back here on Thursday the 27th from 8 o'clock. And that morning, I awoke about 6 o'clock, and I was preparing to come to Rosa with my fellow SIT members. And what happened that morning is something I do not want to relate, and I can assure you that my members here feel the same way. To me, the experience is something that cannot be easily spoken about, although we feel like, you know, life must go on and everything will be back to normal. When I left the farm, coming to pick up the other members of my team, I saw that there was a dry patch of land before me that turned into a stream. I could not cross it. So what happened is I laid back in my vehicle expecting the stream to go away. All of a sudden there was a loud noise under my vehicle. This very big stone hit the Jeep. Then I opened the door and realized that I was up to the door in water. So I tried to back up the vehicle so I could escape, only to find out behind the Jeep was another river. So I began to panic. And then the only thing I could have done was to put that Jeep in reverse and reverse through two paddocks. When I did that, I heard something under the Jeep. It was a stone, big boulder, and it was pushing the Jeep away. I got out of the Jeep and tied my Jeep to a breadfruit tree. And then I looked up on the slope above the farm and I saw this tree, a humongous tree, as big as a mini dumper. And that tree was not broken, it was not destroyed. That tree was walking down the mountain. And luckily for me, with one river to my front and one river to my back, this tree walked into a line of 26 pig pens. It broke it down to pieces. It filled every remaining pen with dirt and soil and stones. Those pens, the 3 pigs jumped out, the rest died. So I jumped on a bigger stone a little higher up, and I went to call my brother. And he told me there must be something going on. And one of the things that one must understand, living away from the community on a farm, you really don't know what's going on in the community itself. So after about 45 minutes, we heard a noise outside. And then there was my brother and another guy came. And they said to us, the whole village is destroyed. So we're asking, destroyed from what? Then they told us that there was a death and that the roads were taken apart. So I asked, as a councillor, I'm a councillor as well in the village council. So what happened is I asked them to take me up to the village. But the only access route to the village was passing through one of the small rivers that was now a huge river. So we couldn't really cross it. We had to cross it in the mouth of the ocean. And then, walking up the village, I realized that something grave had happened. And then when I reached to La Roche, I saw and let me just backtrack a bit. You never begin to realize what really happened until you begin to see with your eyes. So when I reached at La Roche, I saw this big gorge. And I saw some people there. And they said to me, Mike, where have you been? Why haven't you been to Carib where we have a death? So I proceeded up to Carib. And when I reached at the gas station and I saw the amount of mud and I heard the amount of people working, trying to retrieve that body, it suddenly dawned on me that we were in a greater situation that we ever thought that we would be in. So you asked a question earlier. To me, what has been the greatest thing from that disaster? There are a number of great things from it that we have learned, but one of the greatest things for me and hopefully, and I know to a great extent my circle members, is that it's the way the community got together. You have to understand that initially everybody was looking out for themselves, and everybody was surprised to find out that a piece of road where we thought that landslides were impossible to happen, we had 7, 8 landslides. We had a depth where we believed that there was no mountains, and yet still the people came together, forgot their personal well-being, forgot that the rain was still falling, and with a concerted effort started looking for our friend, may so rest in peace, Mr. Hilary Regis. Then in the afternoon, there was this helicopter flying above us, and we were kind of, well, what is happening? What's going on in the country? You know? Then we felt like maybe the helicopter knew that something was wrong in our village, and maybe would have gotten out that there was a dead person in the village, so they came to look at what was going on, only to know that they were just looking at the extent of the damage, not just in Delices, but in the entire community. And one of the things that really had us isolated was that we had no communication. Communication was just gone. So we were literally on our own.
Erica didn't affect me too personally, but I must say that it really disrupted the way of life in the community. We suffered a lot of landslides. We also had a gorge, which disrupted school, which made school start open late. And I mean, life after Erica was just not normal. Up to now, we can't access town. So that is a major hurdle. Those of us who are physically fit will access it, but majority of the people are still behind. And I must say, from Erica, there are a lot of lessons to be learned. I mean, so much petty things going on in the community that, I mean, that is just forgotten in times like this, because I mean, we need each other in order to survive and to do what we have to do. And I must commend the people of Delices, because we really came together and do what we have to do, so that today the community is even further from where the authorities will have to pick up. We have started the work, and we will continue that work.
Well, since the passing of Tropical Storm Erica, what I can say, my community has been greatly impacted by that. But the way the community people came out to assist, especially in the seeing that we had one death, and they really came out and they really did the work for the day. Although it took almost the whole day to get just one body, but they stayed there even if they were hungry. They didn't have cold, they didn't have nothing much to drink. So on that, I would just like to a big shout out to all those who came out, and because it wasn't an easy moment. And the other thing about it, we were locked out. We didn't know nothing else that was happening in Dominica. But from what happened in Carib Delices, we had an idea of what happened in other communities, because that was an area we thought that was safe. So from Erica, what I can say, what this has taught us, that a disaster can happen at any time, and we just have to be prepared. And think that we are doing a course now, which is set to do the greatest good for the greatest number. And even though there is no sets at the time, but some community people, they really came out and they acted like sets.
Well, I want to really say that the first morning all this disaster happened in Delices. When I got up to come to sit training Thursday morning, I thought it was just rain, but when I went to the street, I see it was disaster happening real. So I went back home, changed my clothes, I went back on the street. While I pulled up looking, I saw another piece of landslide came down. It was very experiencing to me. First time I saw this in my life as a young man, but still for our life. stood there and watched to see what's going on. A little while after, things start to get calm. People start to gather around, look for the body, clean the streets, make everything come back like normal.
One of the important things that transpired before and during all this is that we were actually doing a CERT program, Community Emergency Response Team. And when I got to where our dead friend was, I saw Councillor Ronnie Maturin and a couple of other councillors on scene. And they were doing a fantastic job, because one of the things that we learned with just the first 2 days of the program was that there has to be incident command. Someone has to take care of what is going on and ensure that everything was okay. And luckily for us, we had a couple in the area who came forth, and we understood that some people had to work, some people had to stay back, because we had to transfer the labor and make sure that nobody got tired, and that in itself helped us expeditiously find our friend where he was. And when we got together as a council after, we were determined that we did not have to actually wait on the central government, on the local central government to help us. There are 2 of us on the council, and we knew that with our training and our responsibility, we had to take things into our own hands. So we decided that we were going to clean the roads, open up the roads. So we used our experience, we used what we learned. We even in the instance, even before we got word from the medical experts and people from Roseau saying, don't do this, don't do that. We already were informing our community people what is expected from them, what should be done, what should not be happening. In terms of the part of the program that spoke about, where do the firemen come in, where do the police come in. We also knew that from a supplies perspective, with the helicopters coming in, what we needed to do, how we went to the police station and put the corporal and the policemen on standby, just in case something happened whereby we needed them to come and assist us. And one of the greatest things that came out from the Erica disaster is the fact that in Dominica today, I do not think that the clerks of the village councils are given enough credit for what they do. They are in fact the runners of the community. And in this disaster in Delices, and to some extent even Boudica as well, our clerk of the village council, Ms. Prelin Senville, really stepped up to the plate over and beyond. I mean, this young lady would get over 30 calls an hour. What should be done? Who should do this? Who should do that? How are we going to organize the food? How much money you have in the council office? What can we do with it? What can we not do with it? Are we getting help from Roseau? What's going to happen? I remember we had a situation and we had to evacuate all our school children into Roseau for school. And this young lady, together with a couple of councillors, myself and Councillor Geese, we had to get all our students, package them, get them to get all what they needed, take them to an airfield. We did not know up to half an hour whether, before it happened, whether they had to walk the gorge through Boudica or whether we had to airlift them to Roseau. Then the power rep called and said, hey, we're going to airlift them. We have to get them to the playing field in groups of 5, get them on a helicopter, send them away. We used to think that hurricane was a disaster we should look out for. Now we have to look out for little rain at night. And I'm telling you, there are members of my community who are afraid of rain today. And we now know that Dominica is a dangerous area in terms of volcanoes, earthquakes, tsunamis, rain. Ladies and gentlemen, rain that the farmers need can put us in trouble. So most absolutely, I think and believe that the search should be extended. We should make leaders of those who are here and go out in communities and extend it island-wide. And every 6 or 7 months have competitions amongst ourselves to keep it alive. That's what I absolutely believe.